Ladies and gentlemen, people of all gender expressions, thank you for checking out the North Bank Media Podcast. I'm your host, Patrick Strevens. Joining me on the show this evening by way of Zoom was Trevor Wiebe. Trevor, I just met him earlier this summer on a film set. He's an interesting fella. He's a carpenter, currently working in property restoration. He's a martial arts instructor. He's a film student, aspiring filmmaker, film producer. He's also a competitive knife and axe thrower, as you can see in the picture there. And he was also a former bouncer, so a lot of life experience and a lot to talk about. Trevor, it's kind of a different approach here. Trevor reached out to me, wanted to pick my brain about he's got to produce a music video. And I said, well, let's have a conversation for the podcast. We talk about all kinds of things. And he was really more than willing to do it. And he did it on short notice, too. Unfortunately, I had a guest drop out due to an injury in the family, but she'll be on next week, hopefully, and we can talk about that and hear more about that. But Trevor filled in admirably. I really enjoyed talking to him. I was sorry to have to cut it off. I think there's probably one or two more episodes for us in the future, but this is a great sort of introduction to who he is and maybe the beginning of a new relationship, working relationship for me. So in the meantime, please enjoy me and Trevor getting to know one another and this conversation with Trevor Wiebe. Exactly that. You can try all you like, but you're fighting with machines daily.
Exactly, and they'll always win.
That's right. They're programmed to win.
Exactly. It's Skynet, dude.
I know. It's all over for us, you know?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You sound good, so that's awesome. I can record on my end.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. I'm using my fancy snowball, so hopefully that's
nice.
Coming clear. So
very nice. Yeah, right on,
excellent.
Man. Okay.
This is awesome. It's like I told my wife yesterday that I was gonna be on a podcast, and she's like, "Whoa, really? You're gonna be on a podcast? That's cool."
Wait till she listens.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully, it's good.
Well, we'll do our best. Trevor, man, thanks for jumping on. I'm rolling, so let's get into it. How you doing?
Awesome. I'm doing fantastic. I really am. Yourself?
Yeah, no, not bad at all. This is kind of a different approach. You said, let's meet for coffee so you can, pick my brain or bounce some ideas around. I said, well, let's record it so I can exploit you. And you were willing. So
yeah, exactly. Might as well, right?
Well, yeah. So where are you at kind of in your filmmaking journey, and what is it you think that maybe I can help you with?
Well, I actually, I'm in my third semester at the Toronto Film School online in their video production diploma. And our final project for one of the courses I'm in is to produce a music video. That's the whole thing. Okay. And I've never done anything like that before. And they're going through courses and stuff, but I was just like, I saw that you asked me last week, I think it was, if I wanted to help with the music video. And I was like, oh, he has music video experience. I'm going to our teacher is going through everything and all that. But I was like, I need to get as much information as I can so that I don't fuck this up. Sorry, I don't know if we're allowed to swear.
Oh, no, you can swear. You can say anything you want.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, all right. That's cool. But yeah, so I was just like, I'm gonna try and pick everyone's brain. Like I've already watched a bunch of music video or YouTube videos on how to do it and proper techniques and how to do like the multicam in Premiere Pro and all that. But I was just like, hey, I have a professional right in front of me. Let's pick his brain,
Right on. Very cool. Well, I actually was on a music video set last week for 2 days. I don't know that they're so different from any other kind of movie making. I guess you do just have to worry about if you are going to be syncing with the lyrics. That's a whole issue for sure. But I don't think there's any special sauce to a music video that you wouldn't do for any other production,
Okay, because I was wondering if there's a difference in the settings of the camera, like the shutter speed, the aperture, lighting. Because I know music videos tend to be a lot faster and faster pace. Like, do you speed up the recording time, like your frames per second? Do you make them faster? Do you slow them down? Like that's kind of thing I wasn't sure about because I've never done it before,
Right. Well, I think it's not when your instructor wants you to produce this video. Does that mean you have to build a crew, or who's shooting it? Who's lighting? Like, how does that work?
Well, that's the thing. I've actually reached out to a local band here called Tooth and Nail in Edmonton.
Okay.
And they're doing a performance at the Tavern on White on the 28th. So my plan was I'm hopefully meeting with them this week to kind of talk over like what song they want to do. And what I want to do is meet with them, talk about the song, but also talk about like, what's the feeling behind the song,
right?
What inspired the song, right? And kind of get an idea of like why they felt this had to be produced and all kind of stuff. And then from there decide, okay, how am I going to shoot it? Like I want to do some live action, but then maybe do something else, maybe like just their jump back and forth between like their stage show and maybe a rehearsal or something like that, right? And I wasn't sure because if they're also punk rock, so I don't know if that's filmed any different than like a country video or a rap video or again, total amateur. So
that's all right. Good questions to ask. I think it does go down to what is the story you're trying to tell, and then to me, like, people talk about the cinematic image all the time, but to me, cinematic means any technical choice with iris, shutter speed, color, lights, whatever, camera movement. It all has to serve the story,
right.
and inform the viewer about something. So I think you're on the right path to sit down with a band and say, like, where did this song come from, and what's kind of the underlying meaning that we can maybe visualize.
Right. Okay. So as far as technical settings, lighting, stuff like that, it's all just kind of whatever looks good for the band kind of thing.
I really think so. Yeah. Like come up with a visual scheme, a style, a plan that maybe they have a visual aesthetic based on album covers or their live show or fashion, whatever it may be. I think you want it to be on brand, like I did 3 music videos in the last maybe 6 months with an artist named Electric Religious, and he's like blues rock. I can send those to you. Yeah, but he's all about like, neon colors, bright saturated colors. So the director said, well, we need to work that into at least one of the videos, and I think that's more and more. I mean, everybody's doing music videos these days, but to me, it has to really put the performer front and center in some novel way, I think.
Okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense. But
cool.
Awesome.
Cool. All right.
Yeah.
Well, good talking to you.
Yeah, you're back.
So how did you, I guess I'm curious, like at this point in your 3rd semester, you haven't done much hands-on production just yet, or where are you?
No, not really. I did a couple of little videos. We did one video in my 2nd semester where it was like a meaningful thing. So I had to do a video about, like a 2-minute video about something that was meaningful to me.
Okay.
And I did it on knife and axe throwing because I'm a competitive knife and axe thrower as well.
Cool.
So I did that. That's the only thing I've really done as far as video production. Okay. I have done a few things before I started doing school. I used to work for a home builder in Edmonton in the warranty department, right? And I used to have to go to people's homes and talk to them about really like, I don't want to say they're dumb little things because it's just that they don't have the experience of dealing with homes, right? Not a lot of people do anymore. So I used to get called to go to their homes to like change the battery in their smoke detector or find out, why their garage door wasn't closing. Well, they had something in front of the sensor, something like that, right?
Sure, just little things.
So just little things, but it would take, an hour out of my day, hour and a half, whatever it was for me to drive to their house, deal with the problem, drive to the next one, that kind of thing. So I went to my bosses and I said, hey, how about I produce these videos so that rather than go to their house, spend the time, whatever, I can just send them a link, watch this video and do it for them. And I produced about 4 of them.
Okay.
And then I got fired. So
they were that bad, huh?
I guess, yeah. No, they were well received. Everyone loved them. It's just I was fired for other reasons.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but then I was actually fired for no reason at all.
Oh,
to be totally honest,
sounds about right.
Yeah, right. But I got a decent severance package from them.
Okay.
So I was wondering what we should do with the money. And I was talking to my wife about it, and she's like, "Look, you want to do this. You don't want to do construction anymore. So go to school, do film school." And I was like, "Okay, sure." So
And
now I do film school.
So was that something then that like you always wanted to do that since you were a kid or
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I have always wanted to do movies, either an actor. There was a time where I wanted to be a stuntman.
Oh, cool.
I really wanted to be a stuntman. But I never did it because I was a chicken shit.
That's fair.
Yeah. Didn't want to leave the comfort of home and take that big risk and end up homeless on the street, that kind of thing. So I never did it. But now, I'm almost 40 and I'm like, oh shit, why not? Right.
Well,
so
exactly. Live. You might as well go for it. Really. At least then you went for it.
Yeah. What do the kids say? YOLO or whatever?
Yeah. YOLO. Sure.
YOLO.
Well, it's true. As far as we know, you only live once.
Yeah.
So
you only live once. Might as well enjoy it. Right.
Absolutely.
Like why do a job you hate when you can do something you love?
Man, I talk about that a lot on this show, and I think it's got to be true. It's like time is limited. What are you going to do with it? You got to serve yourself first, I think.
Exactly. That's exactly it. Like, I was listening to your first episode there with Marcio.
Okay, yeah.
And his story, and I was like, oh yeah, okay, that's I'm glad I'm doing this.
That's a hell of a story. Yeah.
That's a hell of a story, yeah. So
but he went for it in all ways, he just I don't remember, did he talk about how he was, had kids and living on a mattress in somebody's house and just believing in this business and just nothing but willpower and determination to do it,
Yeah, exactly. And that's what you got to have to do anything in life, really. So
I think that's true. I didn't know you were, we only met the once. I didn't know you were married.
Well, married. We've been together for, no, she's not. Okay. No, we've been together for, actually this October, it'll be 15 years.
Oh, wow.
We've been together. So we were together for a year, and then I proposed, and 14 years later, we just hasn't happened.
Hey,
mostly it's been finances. It's been finances, and she was in school for a couple years, becoming an accountant. So
right on. Well, that'll help
the
with
money
the
just wasn't
finances.
there.
That'll help with the finances.
Exactly. Yeah.
Hey, one thing before we get out into the outer space, one reason that. Well, let me ask you this first. That music video, well, no, it wasn't the fight scene, the short film shoot that we met on.
Yes, Vigilantes.
What was kind of your impression of that whole thing? Because that was about as nitty gritty and indie as you could really ever do a thing. You know, that was bare bones. Yeah,
exactly. That was a no budget, I like to say, because nothing against Chris. He's a great guy.
Oh,
but
no way.
Yeah,
nothing against Chris. Because he has what you have, and I think what I talk about, what I like to think I have sometimes is he's got a belief, man. Like that guy's got kids, he's got a job, he's out in the middle of nowhere ass Alberta, and he's like, I want to make a movie. Movie is an art. I think movie is an art form that is for the people. It's accessible to all people, especially now with the technology. So he's a guy that says, why not?
Yeah, exactly. No, I thought it was great. He really seemed to have his ducks in a row. Like, even though he didn't have much of a budget, it was like he knew what he wanted and he knew the shots he wanted, and he wasn't afraid to go for it. Right. Because there were a couple of things where I was like, okay, like, Chris, is this what you want? And he was kind of like, and I'm like, no, dude, if you don't like it, fucking tell me,
right,
and we'll switch it.
We change it.
And then he was like, okay, yeah, no, I don't like this. Let's change it. And I'm like, all right, cool. It's your show. Right. So yeah, no, as far as the actual production itself, I thought he had it all storyboarded, and he really, like I said, he has his ducks in a row. He knew what he wanted. And I think it was a great shot, a great shoot. Like, I thought it was great.
I agree. Like, I look back on it a little bit just because it was like the weather was a challenge, It was, we're out in the middle of nowhere. It's like all those guys were non-professional actors. Obviously you built them up into a little bit of being able to fight a little bit and all that. But
Yeah.
The one thing, and you're right, that what saved him was that he had that shot list and he knew what he wanted. Like,
Yeah.
I've been on sets where we're just kind of winging it, and it's the director and the cinematographer going, "What about this? What about this?" It's like, how about not that? Have a shot
Yeah.
list and have a shot
Exactly.
schedule. Take your shot list
Yeah.
and then, okay, because you know this is like, if the camera's looking this way and all the lights are pointed this way, we shoot everything. Doesn't matter and where it is in the story. Then we spin.
Exactly.
Then we spin around. Then we drive down the road to the next spot. So that'd be, I guess, one other
Yeah.
piece for you.
Yeah. Do everything all at once and then change the camera and then do it again.
Right.
Actually going back to music videos, when if you're shooting a live, like a performance shot, do you have them do the song a couple of times, or is it just once? And
Well, if it's live in front of an audience, like,
yeah,
that's tough. That's tough. If it's staged for an audience, then yeah, you do it 5 times. But if it's a live show that they're playing, I think you get what you get, and that's tough.
yeah. Because what I was thinking about doing is saying like, okay, let's you guys play it in your list whenever you want, and then 5-6 songs down the line, whatever it is, we'll play it one more time and then get another shot. Like, I don't know if that's professional to ask, or if that's something that would work.
I don't hate that idea. I think, I mean, if the fans, I mean, it's interesting. I've never really thought about that. I mean, where's the show being played? At a bar, probably, or?
Yeah, the Tavern on White.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so it's a really small venue. I think it's like 50 people, 60 people. Like, it's not a big show. But that's what I thought, because with local bands, a lot of times the people that are coming are like fans. They're like rabid fans. And if they like the song, if it's a popular song, they wouldn't mind hearing it, 2-3 times. So I figured maybe asking them to play it once in their song list, and then maybe at the end of the night as an encore or whatever, play it one more time, get a couple extra shots. Maybe they do something different. They kick with their left leg rather than their right leg, whatever.
Sure, yeah.
Something different that I could just kind of fit into there. So
I don't mind that. I think
that's what I kind of thought.
Throw it out there. See, I mean, they could even make a joke of it on stage to the fans. We're prima donnas. We're gonna do it again for the cameras or whatever. Like,
yeah, there you go.
It can't hurt. I don't think it's not like people are gonna storm out.
Well, I should hope not. Yeah.
I wouldn't think.
I would feel terrible if they did.
Oh well. Hey, they're getting a music video out of it.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
So what? What's going to be your role on this? Like, are you building a crew, or what's the plan?
Oh man, right now it's really low budget. I do have a buddy of mine that is also in the film school, the same classes that I'm in. He lives in St. Albert, so
Okay.
he's going to come give me a hand. I was possibly going to recruit my wife and see if I have someone else that can come and hold a camera for a little bit, right? But yeah, I mean, I want to do as much as I can myself to just kind of learn the whole process, right? So, because that's my ultimate goal is I don't want to, like we talked about on the set there, I don't want to pigeonhole myself into just being a DP, just being sound, whatever. I want to do everything. I want to be the creator, right? And I know eventually I'll have to hire people to come and do that, but I want to learn as much as I can so that I know so they know I know what I'm talking about, right? That I'm not talking out of my ass.
Sure.
So that's the plan.
No, that's cool. That's good. Yeah. That's good to know that. That was something that was said to me early on. It was like, you need to do every role a few times, because then when you're the producer or executive producer, who's bullshitting you, who's doing the job right, how long should this take, how much should this cost, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the big one, is how much it should cost, right? So,
well, and the money it's endless. You can spend as much money as you want. You can spend more money than
you have it.
Can't
spend money I don't have, dude.
Oh, the bank will give you tons of money to spend.
Yeah, but they want it back.
That's right, they want it back.
With interest, So,
well, I'll talk to your accountant about that. Maybe there's some. But
well, my wife's the accountant,
right.
So
okay, there's going to be some problems. Maybe
there's going to be some problems. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I got a good credit score, but not that good.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, so then I think doing it on the what does the school expect you to put up your own money and look after the whole thing yourself, or how much support are they giving?
Oh, none. No, no, no. It's totally on me. I don't think they're expecting me to do what I'm doing.
Okay.
I think that's more about like just find a song and create an abstract music video about it. I'm the one that's actually reaching out and thinking I'm gonna go for it. If I'm gonna go for the grade, I might as well get an A, right?
Well, yeah, good for
So
you. I mean, you might as well shine
yeah,
by comparison to, I mean, even if it's whatever, technically not great or just okay, as long like you went for it. You talked to a band, you built an idea, you scripted it, and you went for it. I
exactly.
think that's great.
Yeah.
So, but I think like the three music videos that I did, two of them had like a performance aspect with like the band on stage, or maybe just the one.
Okay.
But that's typical. Like you see the band on stage playing, but then there's some kind of narrative, some kind of story that kind of is intercut. Do you foresee some, even if for you it's just a guy walking down the street and he meets a girl or whatever the song's about, like do you foresee doing
Yeah.
like a kind of scene like that as well?
That is my plan, and that's why I'm starting it early because the project isn't due until I think like third week of September. And usually they start the assignment like 2 weeks before. And
Okay.
I'm like, I'm building a whole music video. Fuck that. I need to start now.
Start now.
So yeah, I actually started about 2 weeks ago. I reached out to a buddy of mine who knew lots of local bands, and I was like,
Okay.
hey, can you, so I've been working on this for about 2 weeks already.
Nice.
So yeah, my plan is to get as much done. So yeah, like I was thinking I would do their live shot or their live show, and then again talk about it with them, see what they want. Do you want to go to a park and walk through a park? Do you want to go walk downtown, like in the River Valley? Go check out a North Bank once in a while. You know what
There
I
you
mean?
go. Well, okay, so
Yeah.
so it's punk music, but is the song pretty hard and heavy and or
A lot of their songs, they aren't super hard. They're actually really good songs. I really enjoy them. I don't know which one they want yet or how they want to do it. So that's again, it's one of the things I want to find out when we're doing it because they have an album out on Spotify.
okay.
But there's only 7 songs on there, so I'm assuming they have more than that. They just haven't released it as an album yet.
Right.
So yeah, so I'm just gonna kind of go to them and be like, okay, what song do you guys want, and then we'll go from there.
Right on. Well, this is good for them. I really like this thing I just did was about a $10,000 budget, so I mean they're getting something very valuable basically for free from you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%.
So do you have shoot dates
Yep.
picked out? I guess you do for the live show.
For the live show, yeah, that's about it. So I'm still trying to because we're supposed to meet on Thursday, but then Thursday doesn't work for this guy, so they're gonna do Saturday, but then Saturday doesn't work for that guy. So it's like just pick a day, guys. Like I need an hour. I need an hour of your time. So,
Artists, right?
yeah, right. They're so flaky.
One thing about shooting a music video is you don't have to pay a sound guy, unless now.
Yeah.
I say that, but also if you're recording sound at the venue, definitely get a feed from the soundboard if you can. Like you want to talk to the sound guy there and get, if you have like a Zoom recorder or something that can take a feed right out of their soundboard, so you have that clean performance audio.
Right.
Because
It was like the videos that I've seen were just using like you have them sing the song to a track and then you just synchronize it to the track.
for sure,
That's the way I saw it done. So
do
do you edit your own music videos too, or no?
I've never cut a music video.
You don't do that part. You just do the recording part.
Yeah, I've done. Yeah, I did camera lighting, some grip stuff on these. So yeah, more the production side.
Oh, okay.
But
Okay.
that's a good point. Like the band always will send the editor the master of that song, and it's just when they do it live, it might be different, right? And the sync might not be perfect, but it's punk. I don't know if that matters.
Yeah, exactly. I could always use the live action as like a B-roll kind of thing.
I think that's the move.
Yeah.
Use the live action and like, shoot some slow-mo, shoot some fast shutter stuff. Like make it okay. This is cool. We're in a different universe, or we're in a different part of the universe here, and then maybe there's a controlled live performance or a staged performance later that you get, or it's that narrative angle. But either way, yeah, the clean music is what unites the whole thing, I guess, right? The track itself.
Yeah, exactly. So
Cool.
yeah.
Well, that's That's a big one, man. That's not easy, actually. There's a lot of moving parts. So
Yeah, that's why I'm very nervous about it personally. So I'm just gonna do as much research as I can before I even turn on a camera,
right,
and just be like, how do I do this?
so you're in your third semester, and there hasn't, like you were saying, there's been some small hands-on, but what are you learning mostly then? Like, what are they instructing you about?
A lot of what I'm doing is like there is editing. So movie editing, like the project I'm working on today for that's due on Sunday is I'm taking clips, or we're giving clips from the show Breaking Bad.
Okay.
And then we're supposed to edit those into a movie trailer.
Okay.
Yeah, so I have to, edit that and make it look like a movie trailer. So that's going to be fun. So that's in the editing class, and then I also have a digital series production. So it talks about the building of a digital series, writing the script, writing the Bible, talking to producers, that kind of thing.
Cool.
Right? Like the actual nuts and bolts of getting a show from your brain onto the screen. So yeah, so that's what a lot of it's been, has been a lot of writing stuff.
Okay.
So
kind of the high, not the higher end, but like the less production, more, I guess, creation, development, that sort of thing.
Exactly. Yeah. Like the digital series stuff.
Cool. So does that intrigue you more? Like, I know you said you're going to do everything in the course of your career, but I believe you said you kind of want to end up as the writer, director, producer role more.
Yes.
Like
more of a creator.
Because
I just have, I have so many ideas for TV shows that I'm like, I need to get them out of my brain because it's exploding.
They're taking up space.
They're taking up a lot of space, and like I got to get them on paper. I got to get them on screen because it's actually funny. One of my coworkers was asking me once. He's like, "You're in film school. Do you find it hard to be creative when it comes to like coming up with ideas and stuff?" And I'm like, "No, I have the exact opposite problem. My brain is always going."
Interesting.
Can't
stop.
Yeah, and it's like it just can't stop. Like right now, I've got a TV show that I'm working on for my school. I've got 2 other shows that I'm kind of constantly thinking about and working on, and then I've got another 5 or 6 ideas just kind of fluttering around in the back of the brain. Right, so it's constantly going.
Has it always been that way?
Yeah, it's always, my brain doesn't shut off. Right, it's always been that way ever since I was a kid. I can remember my brothers and I got 2 brothers, and then a cousin of mine that I was really close to when I was a kid. We're still really close, but we came up with our own version of Power Rangers.
Okay.
And we used to act out our episodes of defeating the villains and stuff like that. So, and then I've often found myself, even recently, it drives my wife nuts, but I'm constantly talking to myself. I'm constantly talking to myself because it's always like I'm talking about my shows or whatever.
Sure.
And but I don't want to disturb her, so I'm whispering. I'm like, "Oh, I gotta do this. It's just always." And she's like, "What are you saying? Just talk." Like, stop whispering. It sounds funny, weird.
That's fun.
Yeah, that's what I said. So yeah, it's always going. Always going.
Do you write a lot? Like, are you getting it out in some other way?
I have been writing a lot, whenever I have time.
Right.
But it's been a lot of like I have a notebook that I carry with me now. So it's like I have an idea, scribble it down in the notebook, and then when I get home, I put it on the computer where it's safer.
Yep.
But it's constantly going.
That'd be something I'd recommend, I guess. Sounds like you're doing it already, but writing, journaling, whatever. Because then you're not the guy whispering on the bus, It's like
yeah, exactly.
What if all the crazy guys on the bus whispering just were full of good ideas and they had to get them out?
Ooh.
Oh, maybe there's.
So what you're saying is I should have a recorder and I should go sit beside them and just record them talking.
There could be more
and then
good
make
stuff.
It could be. Yeah, because a lot of times there's like 5 or 6 voices going off in their head. So
right. They got a whole
right?
a whole Seinfeld episode going on in their head.
Exactly.
That's not.
You never know.
No, that's
no, it's not.
Trying to be more compassionate these days, but it was a joke.
Exactly. It's all funny.
Is there anything? I'm not wrapping this up or anything, but is there anything else that's kind of sticking out? Like you think about, I gotta do this music video. I don't understand XYZ. I don't know.
I think that was pretty much it. Like I've got the rest of it kind of figured out in my head, because I have watched, like when I was a kid, I used to watch CMT
Okay,
all the time,
for sure.
right? And I'm a country boy, and I love country music. Don't judge me,
No,
but
no, it's all good.
yeah. So I used to watch a lot of music videos, so I have an idea
Mhm.
about how they're supposed to look. But again, it was more the technical side of it,
Sure.
the different camera angles, the different camera lenses. Like, is there a certain kind of lens that you use more than not, like a narrow focus or a wider angle? Like,
It's interesting. I don't think there's any difference with any other kind of movie. It's like
no,
the shot choice has to serve the story. So
right?
if you may choose stylistically, I want to shoot just a shitload of close-ups, hands on guitars, eyes, mouths, that whatever. Shoot tight. Maybe you don't maybe need to see a whole wide shot of the half-empty bar for sure, but again, it's got to suit what you really want the story. What information are you conveying here?
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. That
Although
makes sense.
this thing I was on, they use like $10,000 anamorphic lenses, which are just incredible, man.
So, what are they?
So I'm gonna embarrass myself now, but they're anamorphic lenses. And basically,
Okay.
you get the same sort of, you get a lot more compression, like depth compression, but it's also quite it's a wider angle generally.
Right.
So it's a very cinematic, almost. I mean, we were shooting a Western, like cowboys shooting guns and stuff, and it just looked like those old Hollywood Westerns, like the big wide frame. Even in a close up, the frame is wide somehow. It's a little wider than
See, that's
16:9. It's like a wide cinescope frame almost.
okay, because that's actually the project that I'm working on right now for school. The Bible is actually a comedy Western
Oh,
TV
cool.
show.
Cool.
So that's good to know. Where did you guys film?
Way down south of Drumheller, we were by Brooks, right in the
Okay.
Badlands. Yeah, like I was lost. I had no idea where I was, but
Was it like an old ghost town or?
no, there was no towns. It was all just like desert coulees. It was all outdoors. It took place.
Okay. So it wasn't like a saloon
No,
or down
no.
a main street or something. Oh, okay.
No, it was no. Yeah, that's a good point. I expected that, but it was all outdoors. It's so different down there. Like when you get south, south of Calgary or whatever, or east, I guess, south and east of Calgary, it's just like I'm on the moon. It's
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
land.
exactly.
The land changes.
Yeah, down in the hoodoos.
The hoodoos. That's right. No
Yeah.
doubt. How did you originally meet up with Chris? Like we should say that you and I met on this set that Chris. Damn, what's his last name? I forget already.
Value. Chris Value.
Chris Value, right?
Yeah.
He put this little thing together, but he had you as like a stunt coordinator.
Yeah, fight choreographer. Yeah.
Cool.
So it's actually one of those kind of serendipitous things because he actually reached out to the head instructor of my school that I teach at. I teach Muay Thai kickboxing.
Okay.
At Rashido Martial Arts on the
Nice.
hat.
Love it.
Yeah. So I teach Muay Thai, and he actually reached out to my head instructor, Mike. But when he was originally planning on scheduling or shooting it, Mike wasn't able to make it, and he knew I was in film school, so he was like, "Hey, do you want to do this?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, of course I do." So Mike sent me the email, and I called Chris, and I was like, "Hey, man, I've done some stunt stuff, I've done some fight choreography, I've done some seminars with some different guys. I did a one-day seminar with Peter Kent, who was Arnold Schwarzenegger stunt double."
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was really cool. I got to work with Peter Kent and Nathaniel Arcand,
Nice.
and they did stunts here. Yeah, it was really, really awesome. I learned a hell of a lot. It was really cool. But yeah, and then I just reached out to him and I said, "Hey, I want to do this," and he was like, "Yeah, man, that's awesome." So, yeah.
Okay, and so how did you feel about that? Because those kids that were fighting, like they were not fighters, right?
They were not fighters. No, not even a little bit. I kind of felt it fit the story because I talked a lot about that with Chris while we were doing the choreography, while we were setting up. I was like, are these kids trained fighters? Like they're being trained by the one guy, Tito,
Right.
the one character. But is he trained or is he just a backyard brawler who picked up some stuff watching Jackie Chan movies.
Sure.
Right. And that's like, yeah, they were very raw. They were very untrained. They just looked rough. And I was like, yeah, then they'll be perfect. Right. Because like one thing I know from teaching is that in the first couple of months of training, the people look rough, right? It's just the way the elbows are up and they pull their punches way back here, and that's that's how people fight, because that's how it looks on TV, right? What they don't understand is that when they do it on TV and they do like the big haymaker, what they're doing is they're telling their actor, it's like, hey, I'm going to punch you now, without telling them, hey, I'm going to punch you now, right? So it's always like big movements so that you see the punch coming. Right. Unfortunately, people tried to use that in real life and it doesn't work. Right. So, yeah, because I was a bouncer for 5 years. I was a club bouncer.
Oh, wow.
And I had a lot of people try to throw a punch at me, and they were just like way back here.
You saw it coming.
Like, saw coming a mile away. I went and had a drink first, and then I came back and fought them. Right. But but it was just really easy I saw it coming, defended it, and got them out of the bar, and no problems. So but as far as them, yeah, they looked raw, they looked untrained. What Chris wanted. He wanted them to look untrained. He wanted them to look unpolished. So that's why I was like, yeah, that's great, man.
It's interesting though. Yeah, they're unpolished, but they're out there throwing absolute bombs, like breaking noses. And do people live like that? People go out.
I mean,
maybe out in that part of the world, that part
small
of
town Alberta. Like, I grew up in a small town. There wasn't much to do, so
fight.
Why not beat the shit out of each other, right?
Right.
It's better than drinking and doing coke. So
sure it is. Yeah. 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 I think all those things go together, don't they? The fighting, the coke, the drinking.
Well, kind of numbs the pain. So
sure. Good painkiller. Well, I got to ask more about the bouncing. You don't do that anymore.
No. That's a young man's game.
Yeah.
No. That's a young man's game.
Yeah, I bet. Did you do in Edmonton?
In Edmonton, yeah. I worked I started off at the Purple Onion.
Oh, nice.
Back when that was a thing. Oh, yeah.
I remember that.
I was just kind of casual there, just kind of whenever they needed me. I would just go in and work the door there. The funny thing is that I didn't have a lot of fights. I didn't have a lot of people get rowdy because I mean, I'm 6'1", and at that time, 240, 250. So they were a little less willing to throw with me.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
You'd be a tough mountain to move at that point.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you'd have the small guy with the Napoleon complex, right?
Sure.
You want to try something, but mostly I managed to talk my way out of a lot of situations. So
interesting. I've heard that. I've heard cops say that too, is like talking can go a long way, but I guess some guys just want to fight.
Some guys just want to fight. And then it's like, well, okay. I've actually done it a few times where it's like, all right, fine. You want to fight? Fine. Let's take it outside. Right. And they walk outside, and then I tell the doorman, hey, don't let that guy back in. And then I turn and walk back into the bar.
Hey, that works.
Problem solved.
Yeah.
I did that a few times, actually. I managed to do that a few times. So
that's hilarious. They think, all right, here's my chance. I'm going to,
yeah. Like, I can't get back. Oh, what the hell? Right. And then they're standing outside yelling, call me pussy and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, bye. Have a nice night. I don't give a shit.
It's like, I'm not, I'm not taking a punch for my job for a paycheck. That just doesn't.
Although, for $9 an hour.
Sure. No. Although I have to imagine there were guys who were in your position who were maybe a little more unhinged and maybe looking for a little bit of trouble or. No, there were definitely guys who I watched one guy. It was the weirdest situation. There's the guy talking and then another bouncer, and they were like, body language was very just chill. They had a problem. They were talking about it. And then all of a sudden another bouncer comes up behind the customer and just like puts him into a half Nelson, just throws an arm around, starts choking him and drags him out the door. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, man? Like, he had it under control. Everything was fine. You didn't have to do that. But yeah, I've heard lots of horror stories from bouncer buddies of mine that they hire some guy and some guy gets in his face and it's just bang, just knocks him out. I'm like, no, that's the wrong way to do it. So is there any kind of like training or what's the first day of the job, or like what's the pre-job meeting like? Like what's kind of the objective there?
So through the Alberta Gaming and Liquor Commission, they do have a training system called Protect, which is basically they teach you about how to identify people when they've had too much to drink, or when they're about to start shit, something like that. How to properly check IDs and that kind of thing.
Okay.
But as far as like physical training, not really. I had heard rumors that they were going to start something. There's going to be more training for security for bouncers, because I actually talked to a cop once. I was working in Morinville, and I actually went and spoke to an RCMP officer, and I was like, what can I do? What can't I do? Kind of thing. Right. And the cop actually said, like, if the guy's being an asshole and won't leave, he says it's cool for me to, as a bouncer, to like, not strike him, but like grab him and get him out of the bar.
Sure.
He said that's okay. But then the cop actually told me that as an officer, he would never work as a bouncer. And I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, that's just too scary of a job, man. I'm like, you're a fucking cop. And he's like, yeah, but I got armor and I got a gun and I got all this shit. And
sure.
You have a t-shirt. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Good point.
Yeah. And too much liability, right? Like, let's say you knock that guy out and he hits his head and he's brain damaged or something. Is the bar going to defend you? Like, is your employer going to defend you?
That depends on the bar. That depends heavily on the bar. I have heard horror stories like that. I got a buddy who was security, and he wasn't even the one that threw a punch. Somebody else, just a random customer, threw a punch. Thank God that it couldn't get back to him. But yeah, he saw some guy just walked up, clocked another guy. He landed on I think it was a concrete planter, and yeah, busted his skull open, and the guy survived. But it was like, oh boy, yeah, that's scary.
That is, and it can all.
Yeah.
I mean, once in my life, I saw a friend of mine get knocked out cold in front of a bar, and it all happens so fast. And it can unfold. It can go bad very quickly. I suppose you saw that a lot.
Oh yeah,
escalate.
Yeah. It can escalate very quickly. There's a lot of times where I was just standing there, just watching everything, and I see two guys talking, and I look away. And then I look back, and one of them's lying on the floor, and I'm like, "Oh shit, I got to go deal with this!" Right? And I run over and I go deal with it. But it's just like a blink of an eye, and one guy's lying on the ground bleeding, and the other guy's standing over him, swearing at him and shit. And I'm like, "Oh wow, what the hell?" So, yeah, after about 5 years of that, I was like, you know what? This is too much. That's enough. My weekends are almost shot because I'm working every Friday and Saturday night. It's like,
hey, 5 years, you had your fun.
Exactly. I had my fun. I got hit on a lot, so we're good.
Right on. It's probably pretty satisfying. I once saw a bouncer just pick up a guy like he was a little guy. He just like picked him up under one arm and just walked him out. Like, that's pretty satisfying.
It is. Yeah. I've done that a few times where it's actually I had a guy come in. He tried to give me a hug. I don't know why, he was really drunk. And yeah, same thing. I just grabbed him and I spun him around, and I literally one hand onto his belt and the other one onto his cuff of his shirt. I just lifted him straight up and just walked him out the door.
That's classic. That's literally when you think of bouncing somebody, that's it. It's just grab him.
Yep, exactly. I didn't quite heave him, but yeah, it was very like he got one fuck of a wedgie. I'll say that. Oof, it went nice and deep.
Yeah, well, he asked for it. You don't hug the bouncer.
Yeah, exactly. You don't hug the bouncer. The craziest one was I actually had a chick bite me. Which was really weird because I was standing beside the door and these two chicks started getting into it, like just tiny little things, buck 10 soaking wet kind of thing, right? And they start like throwing punches at each other, just like punches, right?
Right.
So I step in between, I separate them. I'm like, what's going on? I got one arm out like this, trying to stop them from hitting each other. I got one chick behind me and the other one's here, and I'm trying to talk to this one.
Right.
And then the one that's standing behind me all of a sudden just grabs onto my arm and just like bites me in the back of my arm right here. Now, luckily, I was wearing a leather jacket.
Oh, okay.
So it didn't puncture anything, but I still felt it. And I looked at her. I'm like, what the fuck? And I grabbed her by the arm and I threw her out the door. Like literally, I just out the door. There she went. But yeah, it's a crazy lifestyle, and I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And people are not at their best in those situations. You know, the patrons.
No, not at all.
They think they are. They feel on top.
They think they are. Yeah, but they're really not. Although I do take a perverse pleasure now in, well, at least pre-COVID.
Sure.
I used to go and just walk down White Ave at like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning and just watch all the stupid. I know I didn't have to deal with it, you know? So
that's kind of nice. Yeah. I've been there too, where it's like, you know, for whatever reason, you're deciding not to drink or you're picking somebody up DD. It's like, look at these people.
Yeah.
You know, and I've been
exactly.
I've been on the other side of that. I've been the slug, like out in the street, you know, look at me, but
yeah,
boy, you don't see it when you are in it, you know?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it.
So I'm curious too about the martial arts. If we could chat about that a bit. How long you been doing that?
I've been doing Muay Thai for 8 years now, almost 8 years. I've been teaching for about 6.
Okay.
So yeah, and then I did a little bit of Taekwondo when I was a kid, when I was a teenager. But yeah, I've been doing the Muay Thai kickboxing. Kind of doing a little bit of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu whenever I have time. But with the school, it's really hard. So I've just been focusing on the Muay Thai, and then when school's done, start doing the Jiu-Jitsu again.
Right on. Well, what like I've always thought about, I mean, I listen to a fair bit of Joe Rogan, so he's always on about martial arts and the importance of it. And I know it'd be useful just to be for self-defense and that sort of thing, but what kind of prompted you to get into it? Like, was it just a family thing or?
Kind of a family thing. I've loved martial arts ever since I was a kid. I think I was 7 or 8 and my dad showed me my first Chuck Norris movie, which I remember, it was, what's called The Octagon.
Okay.
I think was my first Chuck Norris movie. And that's when I was like, I want to do karate. Yes. And then there wasn't really a karate school in the town I was in, not a good one anyway. So my dad enrolled me in Taekwondo. I did that for a couple of years.
Okay.
And then I moved from, this is in British Columbia. And then I moved to Alberta, and the small town we were living in didn't have any kind of martial arts at all. So I couldn't really continue my training. And then it wasn't until I moved into the city and I met my wife, and her sister got married.
Okay.
And her sister's husband is a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu at the school that I train at now. And when they got married, I was the MC of their wedding, but also more than that, I practically, like, on the day, I was the guy. I made sure that they had their fun, and any problems, any questions, anything I dealt with. Okay. So as payment for that, they paid for the first 3 months of my training. And then, nice. And then I continued on from there because I fell in love with it. I was like, yeah, this is awesome. So
that's a cool way. That's a cool way to get in. Kind of, again, sort of serendipitous. You know, you did the right thing, and then you got kind of a foot in the door.
Exactly. And that's the thing. As soon as I showed interest, like once I realized I was good at it, and my instructor saw that I was good at it, and I expressed to him, like, hey, if you ever want to teach or want me to teach kids classes, because he didn't have kids Muay Thai at the time, because of the way the schedule lined up, he couldn't, because he taught all the classes. He didn't have an instructor before I started. Well, at least the instructor who did a different, like the Muay Thai. He just had adult Muay Thai. So then when I expressed interest in teaching, he was just like, yes, right now, let's do it. I will get you in and we'll get you a class. And so you teach martial arts. Is that like your full-time gig right now, or it's a side gig, or? Oh, it's a side gig. Okay. Yeah. Just Mondays and Wednesdays.
Okay.
I teach. I still have a full-time job in construction.
Well,
but
hey, you're on your way out of that.
Yep. And that's what my wife keeps telling me. It's temporary. It's only going to be for a couple more, months, years, however many. Like, that's kind of the 5-year plan is to stick with this and then just slowly build up, unless, who knows, I might meet that producer, that creator who's like, hey, I need a screenwriter and you're awesome, I'll hire you.
It could happen, man. I mean,
it could happen.
I hear you say it, and it's like, that sounds. I don't think it sounds ridiculous, but I could see how it might sound ridiculous, and you yourself might not even believe it. But I think you just have to pursue it because that's what's meaningful to you.
Exactly, and that's the thing. Like, there's I'm not a particularly religious man. I don't believe in religion personally. I believe in God, but not religion so much.
Sure.
But I am the type where it's like I put it out into the universe and then I keep working towards it. And that's kind of how I feel about being on this podcast right now, because it was my martial arts training that led me to Chris calling my school, and then working with Chris led me to you. And now, like this whole in kind of thing, right? Because I was thinking about it, like Chris, like the school that I teach at, there are 5 different Arashidos in the Edmonton area, right? He could have called any of them,
right?
He could have called any of the other dozens of martial arts schools that are in Edmonton,
right?
I'm there's got to be at least 4 or 5 dozen different kinds of martial arts schools that he could have called, and he didn't. He called my school, who passed it off to me, who then I went and worked with him and met you, and yeah. So, I mean, you never know. I might meet a producer buddy of yours who's like, hey, I have this show and you'd be a great writer, and come and, write on the show. Okay, cool.
Yeah. I mean, that's interesting. Hey, that interesting chain of events that got you. And again, like I've said some things to you like, oh, I'm trying to get you to help me here, help me there. And it hasn't worked out yet. And I hate doing that. Like, I seem like a fraud or whatever, but
no, not at all.
And I'm like, oh, I really hate it. I'm texting you like, oh, I know this producer. I'm like, God, what a douchebag I am. I know a producer. It's like, but I do. And I will try and connect you with some people when the time comes,
Yeah. See, and that's just it. When the time comes, it's going to happen. It might not happen tomorrow. Yep. It might not happen next month. Eventually, I'm going to get that phone call, and it's going to be, hey, Patrick gave me your number, said you were interested in learning about being a producer, wanted to know more about it. And then, that's my foot in the door. Right.
Yes.
You never know.
You
never know. Right.
That's kind of what my whole career has been, is just never say no, and like take any opportunity within reason. And, and like, there is something to what you said about you put it out in the universe, or if you, I think it's something like, if you seek, you'll find. Like that is a biblical thing. Seek and ye shall find. There's something to that. If you're always looking, always repeating to yourself, I don't know about manifesting it, but you eventually align yourself with that star, that goal.
Exactly. And that's the thing. It's not, you don't sit back and let the universe take over. That's not how it's going to happen. You keep doing it. And then eventually the universe is going to kind of bring everything together that you need to put you where you're supposed to go, or where you want to go.
Absolutely.
Right? So
it's something like some kind of momentum thing. Like, if you start rolling, then things start to come into your orbit. They start to roll with you. Like Chris calling that martial arts school, that's pretty crazy, actually.
Yeah, it really is.
Like,
it's like I said, he could have called one of, I'm pretty sure there's like, I'm not even sure, 50, 60 different martial arts schools in the Edmonton area. Like, including St. Albert's, Bush Groves, Stony Plain, wherever. Like, there's lots of them, but he called mine, and it just happened that that I was this film student and I wanted to do this, and yeah,
that's the thing, is like, how many of those martial arts schools have a film student in them?
Exactly.
Maybe 5, maybe 3, maybe 1. Maybe you're the one.
Maybe I'm the one. Who knows, right? Yeah, it's just one of those things. Like, you never. It's serendipitous.
Do you have you met any resistance, like from your family or other friends, when they say, "Oh, film school, what are you going to be, Steven Spielberg?" Or, what one guy said, "What are you going to art school for? Are you going to paint my toolbox?" Like, do you know what I'm getting at here? Yeah, that's
I do. Yeah. No, I haven't met any resistance, but the thing is, I don't give a fuck. Nice. If they do tell me that, it's going to be, bye. I'll see you when I'm holding my Oscar, and
nice.
I'll make sure to flip you off while I'm there. Like, I don't, yeah, no, I don't listen to, I try not to be negative. That's something that my wife is actually really good at, beating into my head, is like, stay positive. Don't listen to the negative. Don't listen to the haters. You know, they don't control you. You control you.
Yes.
Right. And I'm like, yes, yeah, that's exactly it. And yeah, no, if I were to hear any negativity, it'd be like, okay, that's your opinion.
Cool.
Right.
Yeah. Thanks for the input.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, actually,
exactly.
Not thanks. But it's funny because so much of it is like whatever they say has nothing to do with you, really. It's something to do with them inside, I would think.
Yeah.
Here's this guy
well, that's just it.
Going for his dream in some exotic profession. Fuck this guy. I hate him. I'm jealous.
Yeah. Well, that's just it. It's jealousy. It's like they can't reach their dreams for whatever reason, even though they can. They just have to take the first step. Right. What's that Confucius, I think, you know, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Right. You take that step.
You got to start.
Yeah, you got to start. Unfortunately, like for me, I think the first step was getting fired from my job.
Oh, yeah.
To be quite honest. Because for the last probably 3 years before that, I was miserable.
Oh.
Right. And I'd been thinking about quitting for a long time. I'd wanted to, right? Like the job was very stressful. And I just like, honestly, Sunday nights, I hated Sunday nights because Sunday I was like, oh my God, what am I going to have to deal with tomorrow? How many emails do I have? How many phone calls, right? Like all this stress. But I didn't want to leave the job because it did pay well. And, you know, there was, it just, I was comfortable. And I didn't want to take that first step.
Right.
And then that's when the universe said, no. Here's that first step. You're fired. Do what you have to do now.
Interesting.
So
it knew you needed, or you put yourself in a position where you needed that push, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. I needed that push. If I honestly think if I was still with that other job, I probably wouldn't be going to the film school. No. You know, I may have met Chris. Sure. I may have done the fight and met you, but I don't think I'd be going to film school right now. Right. Because me being fired got me the severance pay that I needed, which got me the school.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
So you must have been with that company. What you say, 3 years or how long?
No, I was with them for eight and a half.
Oh, 8. Cause you got a pretty big payout that was enough for tuition.
Yeah. I got 4 months severance out of them. So yeah, so it was enough to cover. I think we used we used half of it for the first couple of semesters, and then I just got student line of credit for the last of it. But because we paid off some debts and bills and stuff for the severance as well. But yeah, it's all just kind of, that was the first step that I took to doing what I want to do. Right. I don't want to do construction anymore. I love construction. Like I really enjoy it. It's a good skill set to have, but I don't want to do it anymore.
That's interesting. You were in that industry and I think you hit on it. You were comfortable, you know, the bills were paid. You knew where the meals were coming from. You knew what you had to do tomorrow, but something inside you was dying. It sounds like it wasn't satisfying.
Yeah, it wasn't. Even just doing the couple of videos that I was doing here and there kind of helped a little bit to break it up, but no, it was just a lot of stress. And even since I got fired, like I started my new job, in which I actually get paid more for doing less, for having less responsibility.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I thought so. Right. Less stress, more money. All right, cool. But no, my after the first probably month and a half, 2 months, my wife and my family were just like, dude, you're so much you're so much more happier.
Wow.
Right. There's less stress in your life. You're not as angry. Like there was a time when I was just angry. Right. I was just constantly my anger would just flip out a little bit. I'd apologize for it, of course, afterwards. But since then, it's just been woo, right. Just smooth sailing.
Right, because whatever's inside you, or what, I mean, I am always trying to put big philosophical descriptions on these things, but what does it feel like to you when you change into that new job? You were just, the stress was gone. You were at least closer to doing what you felt like you should be doing, or
yeah, it just felt great. You know, I actually enjoy my weekends now. Right, I turn off my phone. I mean, unless I'm on call. I am on call sometimes, but other than that, you know, I turn off my phone. I don't look at it. I don't have to worry about it. Like Monday morning, I go to work and I just go to work and they tell me where I'm going to go and what I'm going to fix. And I go and do that. And that's it. Right. So
what trade is it that you're doing, or what line of work exactly?
I work for Callaway Property Restorations.
Okay.
We do fire, flood, asbestos, mold, that kind of thing.
Gotcha.
And my job is general carpenter. So the guys go in and, like, say we have to, there's an apartment complex downtown that we've been working in for a while. And it's a 18-story apartment complex, and they're replacing all of the sewer drain lines. Right. So we basically take a line, like say it's the O2s. So there's 102, 202, 302, all the way up to 18. We have to open up the wall. The plumbers go in, remove the pipe, and I have to fix it afterwards. So I go in and I do all the framing, the drywalling, the mudding, taping, painting, baseboards, tile, whatever they need me to do. I go and do it.
Hey, so that's good, honest work, man.
Yeah, it is. And it's a great skill set for me because like I own my own house now. So I know that anything in the house, I can fix it.
Cool.
Right. And if I can't fix it, I know that I have the contacts in the industry to help me fix it for a much cheaper rate than someone else could be. Right. Because I have a lot of favors built up, and it's like, hey, buddy, come and do this for me, and I'll buy a case of beer, kind of thing. Right.
Nice.
So,
hey, knowing the right people is worth a hell of a lot. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Because
then I also have my. Go ahead.
I have to say, the average guy like me would just get screwed in the ass calling a plumber at full rate to fix my toilet, which I could probably fix myself if I just read an article or two.
Yeah, read an article. Call, or watch a YouTube video.
Right.
You can call me now.
I can call Trevor.
My number.
Hey, perfect.
Yeah, call Trevor. Give me a call. I'll come help you out.
Just me.
But no, sometimes that's what I do. Just you. Yeah. No one else.
No, exactly. We can't sell you short like that.
Yeah, no. The other two people listening, no, you can't call me.
God damn you! There's at least 12.
Sorry, 12.
That's okay.
Sorry.
That's funny. Hey, but that video of that you sent me, where it's you fixing the screw pop in the wall or whatever.
Oh yeah, you saw that?
Yeah. Hey, that was cool. Now,
yeah,
with the talking.
That's one of the ones I did for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I figured, and but the focus. Did you shoot that all yourself?
I did everything myself. Yeah, I shot it myself. I edited it myself. I did the talking house. Right. I did all of that.
Because the focus was good. The color was good. Like, it looked really good, I thought.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Excellent.
That's my professional
Excellent. That's what I want to hear.
It looked good.
Good. Good. Because the last thing I want is like, oh, there's this you can fix and this you can fix. I'm like, oh, whoa. No.
Yeah,
no, but if it was good, I mean, shut up. I don't want to know that. No negativity.
No. Well, just a little bit. Did okay. Do you ever think about maybe doing that as a property tutorials, like property restoration or fix it? I'm sure that's just YouTube to the max, but like, have you ever thought of maybe doing more like that?
I kind of thought about it. Like, originally when I started with the Toronto Film School, my plan was to do very similar to what you're doing with North Bank Media, where you're doing content creation for businesses, right?
Sure.
So my plan was to do something very similar, but take it one step further and actually work with charities and with not-for-profit organizations.
Oh, okay.
Right. Because I'm heavily involved with the Kids with Cancer Society.
Right.
And I now just recently started doing their videography for any events and stuff like that they have. Nice. Right. So my original plan was to start my own company, again, very similar to yours, but try to set it up as a not-for-profit organization, so that I could make the videos for charities and for not-for-profits at a much cheaper rate, right? Because those content creation videos they're expensive.
Oh yeah.
Right. They're stupid expensive. So I figured if I could get set it up as a not-for-profit, something like that, maybe get some government grants or subsidies or whatever, then I could just make all that stuff for different charities and help them keep their costs down, especially during COVID, because during COVID, like the Kids with Cancer Society, a lot of their fundraising comes from events that are group events, right?
Right.
Dinners and auctions and whatnot. So when that all stopped, their revenue stream, yes, they get their government subsidies and corporate sponsors or corporate help and stuff like that, but a lot of their money comes from donations, right?
Absolutely.
And fundraising and stuff. So when they don't have that, things like their promotional videos and stuff they can't do it. They can't budget that because they don't have the money, right? But they still need to get their business out there. They still want to help people. They still need to get their videos out so people know about them, right?
Right.
So that's why I was like, I want to help with that. So
did you approach kids with cancer with that in mind, or how did you get hooked up with them?
So I actually got hooked up with them through my previous work.
Okay.
My previous job, they had some events. I've been helping kids with cancer for 2021, about 5 years now.
Okay.
4 years. I've been just helping them out, volunteering at different events and getting to know them and getting to know the people. And then, when I started doing film school, I was like, hey, I need the practice. You guys need the help. Let's help each other. And they were totally on board, and they said, yeah, let's do it. They really like me. As far as I know, they keep telling me they like me, so they keep having me back. So
sounds like
as far as I know, it's all good.
Yeah.
Sounds like they like me. Yeah, I think so. But yeah, and then they just they said, hey, do you want to do this? Like, or let's do this. And I was like, sure. So yeah.
Right on.
So that was the original plan. But then, I started going through the writing classes, and I realized that, holy shit, I'm actually really good at this. So maybe I want to do this. So
beautiful. That's interesting, man. You're on the right path. It sounds like.
I think so. I hope so.
It's refreshing to bump into somebody just out of the blue and be like, oh, this guy's living a whole friggin' life.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
What's kind of the future looking like for you? Like, I know you said you got a 5-year plan, but you're going to finish film school, finish this music video. What's the big plan? What's the big hope here?
Well, the big hope right now is to do my TV show, do my comedy Western, and then go on from there. Like I said, I've got a million ideas in my head. I literally just need the funding. I just need the money. Right. And then I can do what I want to do and make movies and make TV shows. And I've got a lot of ideas in my head about different genre, not just comedy, which is one of my mainstays. I love comedies. I'm a huge Mel Brooks fan.
Oh, there you go.
Huge Mel Brooks fan. But yeah, the idea is to just entertain people. That's the plan. That's the wish.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
Well, hey man, if there's send me some scripts, or if there's anything, here I go talking big, but if there's something we can do, let's keep in touch and see if we can get something done.
Well, that was the other reason I wanted to make sure to keep in touch with you, is because you are a DP. So it's like, hey, I have this show. I need help, and actually for the final semester next year, I do have to have a short film made.
Okay.
So I was like, yes, once I can find out a budget and stuff like that, I totally want to hire you to come and help me film it. Because I've seen how you work. And I'm like, yeah, I like the way you work, and you're collaborative, and you seem like a nice guy. So, let's work together.
Absolutely. And all the better if there's a budget.
Yeah, that's the big thing, right?
Any budget is better than. I'm not knocking Chris.
Yeah.
We all signed up for what it was, but a little bit of money goes, but he spent money on other things.
Yeah, exactly. Right. He had that professional makeup artist come in.
True.
Man, she made those kids look like they were fucked up.
Pretty beat up. Yeah.
Yeah. Like the one guy with the broken nose, I was like, oh, damn.
Right.
That looks like he got punched in the nose, So it's crazy.
And that reminds me, when you do get into your music video or your short film next year, production design, set decorating, and makeup, like those were things that I never, like I did a feature film in 2015 and the makeup was awful. I put no thought into set design or set decoration of any kind. I barely knew what I was doing with lighting. But then I worked on some other things. I was like, oh shit, they're putting thought into like what's on the walls, what colors are the characters wearing, there's so many levels in the film that you need to take control of. So just, I guess, keep that in mind too.
Yeah, there's so many moving parts that you don't think about when you're just writing. Right. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the TV show The Good Place.
I don't think so. No.
No. Have you seen Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
Yeah,
Or the
sure.
Parks and Rec? Okay.
Yep.
So the same guy that created Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Parks and Rec,
Okay.
he did a show called The Good Place.
Okay.
And it's amazing. If you haven't seen it, it's on Netflix. Go watch it. It's fantastic.
Okay.
But they also do a podcast, and it's hosted by one of the actors.
Okay.
And what he does is he sits down with not just the actors, not just the writers or producers. He actually sits down with the set decorators, with the costumers, with makeup artists, with everybody, right? So there's a lot of things that I picked up from that, where I'm like, oh, that's really cool. I never thought about, set decorating, or how someone's wardrobe, their costume could express how they're feeling in that particular moment. Right. So listening to that, I've listened to that podcast, I don't know, 6 or 7 times already, the whole thing through.
Okay.
And it's really, really awesome.
That's really cool.
So
the creator of the show sits down with these people from different departments.
So it's actually one of the actors. His name is Mark Evan Jackson.
Gotcha.
Right. But he has sat down with the creator, Mike Schur, and talked about it, right? About the show and about the creative process and everything. And there's a lot of it that I'm like, oh yeah, okay. That's why I keep telling people, they're like, what do you want to do? Like, what's the ultimate goal? The ultimate goal is to become the next Mike Schur.
Okay.
That's my plan, right? I want to be that guy. I want to be the guy that creates something that entertains people. That's the goal.
Hey, I love it. I love to hear that.
Yeah.
And this is cool. I'm going to check this out. A podcast. That's a great idea as like a companion to a movie or a show. Do a podcast with the people that created it.
Yeah. It's such a good idea. Like, there's lots of podcasts about the show by guys like you and me, where we just watch the show and we analyze it from our either experienced or non-experienced, ways. But yeah, that's the only one that I've ever seen that actually meets with actors, with the producers, the writers, the lighting guys, like everything like that. It was really, really informative for me.
Beautiful. Yeah. So that's awesome. Trevor, like, I do appreciate your time, man. It was great to get to know you a little bit more. And I hope this is the first of many more conversations to come. Yeah.
Hey, anytime you need someone to fill in, let me know and I'll jump back on. Right.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. You're the first call. And so, you know what it was, is her son fell off a sea can, broke both arms.
Oh, and my God.
She's like, do you mind? I was like, no, it's fine.
Priorities.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. First of all, how old is the son? Do you know?
I don't know. Young, like 10, maybe 11 kind of thing.
Okay. Why is he on a sea can? And how did he fall off?
Listen, she's coming on the show next week. We're going to find out all about it. But yeah, questions need to be asked. I think it was kids being kids, a group of kids gets together and we're all going to jump off the sea can,
Yeah. My brain, I have a really gross brain. My brain just like, who's going to wipe his butt? He's got 2 broken arms.
I
know.
We're going to ask her all about it.
It's probably going to be mama.
Yeah, it's going to be mom.
Yeah. So mom, how do you wipe his ass?
Right. Please tell me about. Well,
please tell me.
Have you ever been crippled or injured to the point where you had to?
No, I've never. That's the thing. I'm 37. I've never broken a bone in my body. I've never done it, and I've done some stupid shit. The quick story before we end up.
No, sure.
I was this is a couple years ago. I think I was like 26, 27. And I was helping my uncle tear down some old barns on his yard.
Okay.
Some old sheds. And there was one shed. We had one wall left, and I couldn't get it down. It wouldn't pull down. I couldn't get in there. I couldn't cut it. It wouldn't come down. And we had a shed right next to this single wall that wasn't coming down. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll climb up onto the roof of the shed and I'll just push the wall with my feet.
Okay.
Right. And I was pushing and it wouldn't go. It wouldn't go. The wood was so like old and rubbery. It just kept bouncing back. So I had to, I was pushing and pushing and pushing. I was trying to push off. And as I was doing it, I was pushing with my hands off the roof. And I was trying to get it to the point that I pushed the wall over, but not follow the wall.
Right.
And I got to this point and I was just like, okay, I'm at the point of no return. I either follow the wall down or I figure out another way. And I was just like, fuck it. And I pushed off the other roof as hard as I could, and I managed to get my feet like a surfer, and I just rolled the wall, bang, till it fell down.
That is epic.
And I just landed on my feet, and my uncle looked at me, and he's like, what the fuck? How did you do that? Like,
Spider-Man.
It was fun though. I was like, where's the damn camera? Like,
yeah, no kidding.
Shit.
Did your uncle at least like see fully what you did?
Yeah, he was standing right there. Okay, he was standing there with his little granddaughter, and they're both just like, what the hell?
That's some Spider-Man shit.
Yeah, but again, I've never broken a bone. I've done crazy shit like that all my life. I've never broken a bone. I've sprained stuff and I've injured myself, but nothing serious that I was in a cast for any period of time.
Wow. So, well, it's not fun. I've broken 3 or 4, and it's just brutal. And that
I can imagine.
It takes you out because that limb just can't move.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, obviously I'm not a fucking doctor, but it's not
it's not supposed to move.
Yeah, exactly. Trevor, man, this was great. I hope, like I said, this is the first of a beautiful friendship or a working collaboration or whatever it may be.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it. Thanks for having me on your podcast. It was really awesome.
My pleasure. Thank you. And thanks for listening. All right.
Cool, man.
Thank you for listening to the North Bank Media Podcast. If you enjoy this conversation, please subscribe on YouTube and give us a like. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please subscribe as well and leave a 5-star review.